اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد. خل المقادير تمضي لا تغالبها، فإن من غالب الأقدار مغلوب. إن القضاء لسيف لا يقاومه شيء من الخلق إلا وهو محبوب. وامشي رويدا مع الأقدار في مهل، فإن من يكره الأقدار متعوب. سلم وفوض لحكم الله محتسبا، فإنما الأمر مقضي ومكتوب. والله يقضي بما شاء وكيف يشاء، والعبد عبد ومخلوق ومربوب. ولم يزل ربه الرحمن يكلأه، باللطف والحفظ محفوف ومصحوب. حسن ظنونك بالرب الكريم، ولا تسيء ظنا فتبقى عنه محجوب. واعمل لنفسك أعمالا تسر بها، فكل ما يفعل الإنسان محسوب. إن كان خيرا فخير سوف يحصده، أو كان شرا فتنكيل وتعذيب. يا ويل من ضيع الأعمار في زلل، وكل من كسبه الآثام والحوب. واطلب علوما مع إقبال مع عمل، فأنت بالعلم والأعمال مطلوب. واحذر زمانك هذا إنه زمن، به المناكير شاعت والمعايب. فكن وحيدا فريدا خاملا حذرا، فإن فيه الأقاويل الأكاذيب. والظلم فاش بلا لوم ولا نكر، وللمساكين تخويف وترهيب. فكن لبيتك حلسا لا تفارقه، إلا لشيء له في الشرع تصويب. واذكر إلهك ذكرا دائما أبدا، فالذكر بالذكر مقرون ومصحوب. وذاكر الله يجالسه، فاجلس مع الله تأتيك المواهب. واطلب من الله ما تحتاج أجمعه، فالخير يا ذا لديه والمطالب. لا تسأل الله كريم الوجه خالقنا، فعنده الفضل والإحسان مسكوب. واعكف على بابه في كل ما نفس.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Alhamdulillah. My dear respected viewers, we begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we pray that Allah bless us in this blessed month, and inshallah may Allah bless us with the understanding and the deen and tawfiq and hidayah. In the book of Nur Idah, we are still in the chapter of tayammum, and in our last lesson, and we spoke about the integrals of tayammum. We spoke about the tapping, one tap for the face and one tap for the hand, and also we spoke about the conditions of the dust that we use in order for us to get the validity of tayammum. So today, inshallah, we will continue from where we stopped in our last lesson. So this is where the author mentioned وَرُكْنَاهُ مَسْحُ الْيَدَيْنِ وَالْوَجْهِ. These are the two integrals of tayammum. Number one is mashul yadain, yani mashul yadain, that we use the dust to wipe our hands, wal wajh, and the face. Before that he mentioned wa shurutu wujubihi kama dhukira fil wudu. So the conditions on its obligation are the same as the conditions of wudu, except for a few things. So now we go on to our lesson today. We have come to this part where he mentioned sunanut tayammum. So now we are going to speak about the sunnahs in tayammum. So before this we cover the obligations or the integrals and the reasons why a person can do tayammum, why a person cannot do tayammum. Now we are going to speak about the sunnahs of tayammum. So here the author mentioned wa sunanut tayammum sab'ah. There are 7 sunnahs. Number 1, at-tasmiyatu fi awwalihi. Since tayammum is ibadah, every form of ibadah, it is a sunnah for us to begin with the basmalah. We say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Likewise in wudu, likewise in bathing the obligatory bath, and so on and so forth. At-tasmiyatu fi awwalihi. Yani, before we perform our tayammum, we recite the basmalah. Number 2 is tartib. Tartib in sequence. In the madhab of Hanafi, the Hanafi madhab views that tartib is a sunnah, and this is this is a point of difference in between the Hanafi school and Shafi'i school. In Shafi'i madhab we regard tartib as wajib, but here he mentioned tartib is a sunnah. What is the meaning tartib is a sunnah? Yani if a person, for example, he wipes his hand first, then he wipes his face, the tayammum is valid, but the sunnah is to wipe the face first, then the hands. So this is the meaning of the sunnah of tartib. Number 3, al-muwala. Al-muwala, that he does it immediately. Yani after he taps for the face, immediately he taps from the hand without waiting much. Number 4, wa iqbalul yadain ba'da wada'ihima fi turab. So now basically what the author is saying, so now for example, if I am doing any tayammum, if I am doing any tayammum, so there are certain things that I must make sure. So the first thing when I tap, so I wipe the upper part of the hand. So hand, we have this upper part, and we have this lower part. So we wipe on the upper part, not beginning with the thumb. Yani we wipe like this all the way up. When we reach the elbows we turn, and then we wipe the downward part. So this is the downward part. So our hands we have the upward, and then we have the downward, and then we wipe the ibham like this. Likewise when we want to wipe our left hand. So now this is the dust that I wipe. I wipe from the left, from the tip of my hands all the way to the elbows I turn. Then I wipe the downward part, and then I mix it and I do takhleel. So this is to ensure that the dust reaches all parts of the hand. So basically the author is speaking about this. So he said wa iqbalul yadain ba'da wad'ihima fi turab. Yani after we place our hands from on the dust, and then we dust the upper part. Wa idbaruhuma, and then when we turn and we do the lower part. Number 6, the sunnah is nafad like this. When we tap, it is a sunnah to do like this, so that the stones or some things fall off. Because the thing about tayammum, it is not to make our face fully covered with dust, but we just take the bits of the dust. So this is ta'abudi. It is not about make sure that every dust covers in your face like you are wearing this makeup, but the purpose of tayammum is that it is ta'abudi. It is a form of obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we have the nafad, the sunnah of nafad. And then number 7 is tafrijul asabi'. When we tap, we tap like this, so that the dust can enter in between our dust. And then it is sunnah also, we do takhleel. Now we are going to speak about takhiru tayammum. Okay, what is the meaning of ta'khir tayammum? The author will give an example, and for the examples inshallah it will be clear for us. Number one, he said wa nudiba ta'khir tayammum liman yarju al-ma'a qabla khuruj al-waqt. So now the situation is like this. Now we do not have water, but there is a possibility that water comes at the end of the timing in your prayer. So for example, we are going to pray Zuhur with tayammum, but somebody is saying there is a possibility that our friend will come 10 minutes before Asr, 10 minutes before Asr. So we say it is a sunnah to wait. Sunnah, not wajib. Because why? Possibility. Possible that he comes, possible and he does not come. So in this situation, if there is no conviction, then waiting for water is a sunnah. Mandub. This is what the author is saying. وَنُودِبَ تَأْخِيرُ تَيَمُّمْ. It is a sunnah for us not to do tayammum now, but to do it at a later time. لِمَنْ يَرْجُ الْمَاءَ قَبْلَ خُرُوجِ الْوَقْتِ. Before the water, upon the timing of prayer ends, that there is a possibility then the water will come. Now, this is point number one. So it is a sunnah to do ta'khir. So now we understood what is the meaning of ta'khir. Ta'khir is basically to make our prayer at a later stage. Number two, wa yajibu ta'khir. Ta'khir can become wajib. How ta'khir can become wajib? Bil wa'di bil ma. Meaning a person say with conviction that I will come at 4 o'clock with water. I will come at 4 o'clock. So for example, Asr is 4:10. So in this situation, it becomes wajib. Wajib for me to wait for water. It's not permissible for me to do tayammum. Walau khaf al-qada. Although he fears that if he waits for this person, the timing of the prayer might end. Although we say this is compulsory, that you cannot do tayammum now, you have to wait until the water comes, because now there is a promise. There is a promise that the water will come. For example, nowadays we can relate to grab. For example, if you order any water, then in their indication, for example, from this timing to this timing, if that coincides with the timing of prayers, then we have to wait until water comes, because otherwise our tayammum will not be valid. Number three, wa yajibu ta'khir bil wa'di bis sawb aw bis siqa'i ma lam yakhifil qada. So now the author going to explain something else pertaining to clothes. A person, for example, he doesn't have clothes to cover the aura, but somebody tells him that I will come and I reach at 4 p.m. For example, Asar 4:05, 4 p.m. and I come. So now there is a promise that this person will bring the clothes. So it is wajib for him to wait, but the difference between this obligation is that ma lam yakhifil qada. If he doesn't fear that the timing will end. But when comes to waiting for water, even though he fears the timing will end. But here it is not permissible to wait until the timing ends. Why? Because there is a difference between praying without water and praying without clothes. Praying without clothes is forgiven. If a person doesn't have clothes, it is forgiven. But when comes to water, what you call it? If a person for example knows that water is coming, that it is wajib for him to wait for wajib for him to wait for water. Because if you have water, you cannot do tayammum. But when comes to clothes, if you do not have clothes, until such an extent that the time will end, then a person comes, you can still perform your prayers. Because in this situation it is forgiven. You do not have any clothes, but prayers becomes compulsory, and it is not obligatory upon you to do qada in this situation, because it is forgiven. But water carries a different ruling. You cannot do tayammum if there is water. You cannot do tayammum if there is any water. At-takhiru bil wa'di bis sawb aw is-siqa. Siqa like a person has a pail. A person is finding a pail. He has a well but no pail. So at the end he walks and somebody tells him that I will bring you the pail. So in this situation it is compulsory upon him to wait. He cannot do tayammum, but he must wait for the for the pail. Ma lam yakhifil qada. If he doesn't fear any of qada, meaning he doesn't fear that the timing and the prayer and he will end. If he fears any that the timing and the prayer will end, and he can pray. He fears any the timing and he will end, and he can pray. But the difference any is when comes any to water. So these three examples any the author gave: clothes, pail, and clothes any and pail. So these are the things any that wajib any for you to wait, but to such an extent that if you know that the timing and your prayer and it will end, then you have to perform your prayers. You cannot wait anymore. But when comes any to water, it is given any more concession. Yani not only we say it is compulsory any upon you to wait any for water, and this is any based any conviction. Walau khaf al qada, even though if a person any fears that the timing any of prayer yani will, that the timing any of the prayer yani will end. So at the last part any of the time, before any the end any of the time, he performs any his prayers. If yani the water any does not, if the water any does not any reach him. Then any the author any speaks any about talabul ma, and this is part any of the chapter yani in tayammum. When comes any to tayammum, it is compulsory that we find water, because Allah mentioned in the Quran, fa illam tajidu ma'an fatayammamu sa'idan tayyiba. Fa illam tajidu ma'an, yani if you cannot find water, so meaning here you have to find any water. You have any to find water. But what is any the extent? What is any the obligation of finding water? To what extent that a person any must find? So number one, and he say wayajibu talabul ma'i ila miqdari arba'ati khutwatin, 400 steps. 400 steps, and it is about 170 meters. 170 meters. In zonna kurbahu ma'al amni, if he has zon. For example, there is a possibility within this radius of 170 meters, there is water. For example, a person sees there's a lot of trees on that side. There are birds coming in. For example, if you're in the desert, there are birds coming in that side, but you cannot see it. So there is a possibility there's water, because usually birds and vegetations they go in the presence of water. So there is a possibility and in that there is water. So in that case, it is wajib for you to go. You cannot do tayammum now. So it is within the radius of how many? 400 khutwah. Yani 400 steps. So if there is none of the possibility that water is there, ma'al amni, unless if a person says there's robbers there, or there are wild animals and there is alligators and all these lions and tigers in that situation, then khalas a person does tayammum. But he said ma'al amni, if you can access that water. Wa illa fala, if there is no aman, then aman meaning safety, naval safety, then it's not compulsory for you to get the water. You can do tayammum. So this is point number one. Number two, wa yajibu talabuhu mimman huwa ma'ahu in kana fi mahallin la tashihu bihin nufus. So number two, it is compulsory upon him to ask around people in the community. La tashihu bihin nufus, if the situation is such that people will give you their water, unless if there is a drought where people will not, people won't give you any water. So there is no point for you to ask around, because people does not want to give you the water. But in a situation where people might give you any water, then you have to find and ask around. Anybody has water and he can spare me and all these things. So this is number two. Number three, wa illam yu'tihi illa bisamanin mislihi. Number three is to buy water. For example, there are people who has water but they won't give you. You have to buy. Now it is compulsory upon you to buy if they sell you at the market price. If you sell you at the market price, then you have the money, and this money is more than your needs that you need from that money. Yani in terms of nafqah for your family and food for your family, you have any extra. Now it is compulsory upon you to purchase the water. Lazimahu shira'uhu. This one the author is saying, Lazimahu shira'uhu. It is compulsory upon him to buy the water in kana ma'ahu, if he has it. Fadilan an nafaqatihi. If he has the money, fadilan an nafaqatihi, that is above what he has. Yani for example he needs for example $20, he has $30, so he has extra, then it is compulsory upon him to buy, with the condition that if the person sells at the market price. But if the person is not selling at the market price, then it is not compulsory upon him to buy. He can do tayammum. Then the author mentioned ma yusalla bit tayammum. So with tayammum, what are the prayers that we can perform? So he said, وَيُصَلِّي بِالتَّيَمُّمِ الْوَاحِدِ مَا شَاءَ مِنَ الْفَرَائِضِ وَالنَّوَافِلِ. This is the madhab of Hanafi. They don't differentiate between the obligatory prayers and the sunnah prayers. And if one tayammum, you can perform the obligatory prayers and the sunnah prayers as much as you wish. As much as you wish. And this is, mashallah, yani something yani that is simple in comparison yani to the madhab al-Imam Shafi. We differentiate any between the wajib any prayer and the sunnah prayers. And we say that the one tayammum and is only for one fard. So if a person and he is performing another fard, then he has to take another tayammum. But here in the Hanafi madhab, they don't differentiate between the fara'id and the nawafil. The Zuhur prayers, you can perform any one tayammum for the Zuhur prayers, the Asr prayers, the Sunnah prayers. وَصَحَّ تَقْدِيمُهُ عَلَى الْوَقْتِ. And it is permissible also yani to perform any the tayammum any before the time. So this is another yani thing that is easy in the Hanafi madhab. So we have come into this, and the next part, the author mentioned tayammumul jarih. All this one, we will postpone to next week. There are certain explanations, that has to be done. We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us and with tawfiq. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
أولاك ترضى وفي أخراك محبوب ففي اتباع النبي الخير أجمع عليه منا صلاة ربي يدوب تغشاه والآل